7:04 on Thursday, July 10th, 2025. Before we start tonight, can everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Oh, God. Right. All right, Patty, can we please start with roll call?
Councilman William G. Buck.
Here.
Councilman Richard G. Clinchie.
Present.
Councilman Anthony J. Rico.
Here.
Councilman Thomas A. Garrity Jr.
Here.
Supervisor Rob Scarano.
Here. All right, we're gonna go right into public hearings. Patty, number one, we're actually going to adjourn to next month. Yep, I'll make a motion to open up a continuation of North Edge Realty Residential Development.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Was anybody here looking to speak on that tonight? Or anything? You were? You guys can come up and say a few words, just real briefly and quick, because we did push it to next month. What? Say it. All right.
Right here to the podium.
Right to that.
Hi. My name is San Castellano. I live at 20 Woodcrest Somers. The road I live on is right off of Mahopac Avenue. And if I look to you guys, I've been here before. I've come before this board to talk about the dangers of Mahopac Avenue with the reckless driving and all that. My concern right now is putting in these additional houses will only cause that problem to become worse. I don't feel that Somers has infrastructure right now to handle the traffic that's on that road, and adding 77 multi-family homes is only going to cause this to become worse. These residents, like many others, will be taking Mahopac Avenue to go to 684, the Taconic Parkway, and there's going to be additional speeding, additional accidents. Right now, people don't try to slow down when people are crossing the bike path. And I just feel that this is going to be a bad thing for all of us. We pay, myself, my husband, and everybody in this room pays a lot of taxes to Somers, and we want to keep our town quaint and we want to keep it safe. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, public hearings being continued, not opened. So that woman's comments are not going to be in the record of the public hearing.
Okay.
She'll have to come and repeat them the night that you open the public hearing.
This has been continued and we'll just do minutes for
But then the board needs to open the public hearing.
just it.
I thought you continued.
No, he opened it.
I opened it. She asked me to open it. I said, make a motion.
Said open it.
All right, but you shouldn't keep it open because we informed the applicant.
Okay.
It's not going to
Oh, I see.
tonight.
Okay. All right.
Otherwise, they would be here.
Okay.
So do you want to close it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for all.
No, adjourn it.
Yeah, we're going to we'll adjourn that to next month. Close it out, Patty?
Yeah.
Make a motion to close out the make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Don't move. Okay, thank you. Patty, you want these things or no?
Yes.
Okay. All right, number 2 on here. Proposed local law to amend chapter 170 entitled zoning to reduce the provision of affordable units from 15 to 10% of proposed units in the entirety to the amended 170-3 entitled definitions of affordable dwelling units to include the following town code of the town of Somers as follows. All affordable units shall be marketed in accordance with the Westchester County Fair and Affordable Housing Affirmative Marketing Plan. Patty, did you have publishing and posting on that?
Yes, that was published in the Journal News on July 7th and posted on the town clerk's bulletin board. I'm sorry, July 1st.
All right. All right. I did.
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Dave?
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. For the record, David Smith, Planning Director for the Town of Somers. In addition to the public hearing notice that Patty had mentioned, notices were sent to the surrounding communities and also to Westchester County for their consideration. So with respect to the proposed amendments, currently in the town code, there's an affordable housing provision of 15% for affordable housing in the following districts: the multifamily resident district, Baldwin Place, multiple family resident district, Hamlet, the downtown Hamlet, the multiple family residence 100, the neighborhood shopping, it's NS, and BHP, Business Historic Preservation District, each of which requires 15% affordable housing. That was part of the initial crafting of the language. It's important to note Westchester County has a model ordinance, and in their model ordinance, they only require 10%. So part of the revisions that are being proposed bring the town's requirement in line with the county's model ordinance. In addition to those revisions, we've added some additional language under the definition of affordable dwelling units to include all affordable housing units, or all affordable units shall be marketed in accordance with the Westchester County Fair and Affordable Housing Affirmative Marketing Plan. So that's a requirement that communities have, that Westchester County has for the specific marketing of affordable units, not the management, but it's the marketing of those units, and it has to be done in a specific way. So now you're recognizing that in the text of the code. So at the last meeting, you declared your intent, or you declared yourself lead agency under seeker. So the environmental review has been initiated. You've had an environmental assessment form prepared as part of the revisions. The codes have been made available to the public, and that's a summary of the process so far to date. Happy to answer any questions.
Guys, any questions?
No,
Okay.
we've been over it.
Good.
No?
So when the county has said, and we've gotten on various proposals, recommending we adopt the model ordinance, as you say, and then market it as is required, this is what they're talking about.
Correct.
We've heard,
Yeah.
I've read that for years.
Yes.
And, I've always supported affordable housing, not necessarily just people outside, but people who grow up here,
Yes.
So I've always supported that.
Mhm.
And this makes us in line with the rest of the county.
Correct. With the county's model ordinance. Yeah.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
Nope.
No?
In front of the ball.
Okay. Anything for the public? All right, great. I'll make a motion to close out the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. I'll make a motion to adopt the neg deck.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. And make a motion to adopt the local law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
You, just real quick for everybody out there, based on number one, continuation of North Edge, just want to let everybody know this was by the applicant had requested to move it to next month, not the town board. Just want to make that clear for people that the applicant requested to move it to next month. Let's move on to number 3 here. Make a motion to open up number 3, a proposed local law to amend chapter 158 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, article 7 entitled Heritage Hills, section 158-23B of the town code of the town of Somers, to add the following, and that is a stop sign at Westridge Drive in the westerly direction towards Level Street near the signpost marketing units 708 to 714.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so moved. Patty, publishing and postings on that?
That was published in the Journal News on July 1st and posted on the town clerk's bulletin.
Okay. Anybody here comments on that? Anybody want to speak? Come, Gloria.
Good evening, gentlemen. Nice to see you again. I'm Gloria Anderson. I'm here representing Hill Society Board. On July the 2nd, I sent a letter to each of you gentlemen citing the controlling section of the New York State Vehicle and Traffic Law, as well as the pertinent sections of society's Articles of Incorporation, as well as Condo 29's own Declaration of Condominium, all of which support society's application to the town, asking you to authorize society to install a stop sign on Westridge Drive, heading toward Level Street near the signpost marking units 708 and 714. I also included in there a response to comments made by a resident of Condo 29 at last month's meeting, Mr. Epstein. I want to correct one thing I said in the letter. I said that he was a Condo 29 Board of Managers, and that is incorrect. I understand he formerly was a member at some point, but is not currently. And I see that he is appearing by Zoom here at the meeting tonight. So the reason why Condo 29 is disputing society's authority to install that stop sign is there was some concern about speeding on that street. And in my letter to you, I have cited all the actions that society has taken in order to mitigate any speeding on that street, which included asking Condo 29, and they did comply, to significantly trim back trees that were obscuring a line of sight at one of the intersections. We moved an existing stop sign closer to Westridge to improve the line of sight there. We purchased and installed a permanent new speed sign to let people know if they were exceeding the speed limit and asking them to stop, to slow down. We also we painted slow on the road, very large letters so that people see that as they're driving. We also investigated putting up speed humps or speed bumps along the road, and we were not able to do that because of the configuration of Westridge. It does not meet the DOT standards for their installation. So we've done everything we can possibly do to address any concerns that residents along there have about speeding. But the real question before the board is who has authority to ask the town to install the street sign, the stop sign, excuse me, and that is set out in detail in this letter, and it's very clear that society is the proper entity to petition the town. I'm just wondering if any of you have any questions about what was said in the letter, or if there's anything you'd like me to expand upon.
No, you did say the sight lines have been improved, correct?
Yes, they have.
Okay.
In the one instance where we were not able to improve the sightline adequately, that's the place where we're requesting that a stop sign be installed.
Okay. Anybody else? Come on up.
Can I talk?
Well, we got two people here, then they'll tell you when you can go.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Alan Tepper. I reside in 714 Heritage Hills. I'm the president of Condo 29, and I'm just here to clear up, if I can, or help clear up the concerns about the jurisdiction in the matter of the stop sign. Condo 29 supports society's assertion that they have jurisdiction. We agree that they do. Further, we also support their application that the stop sign be replaced. So I hope that clears up any confusion regarding the position of Condo 29 versus the position of society. Thank you.
Mr.
Is
Tepper.
it being replaced or installed? You said installed.
Oh, I'm saying install. I'm sorry. I didn't know, not replaced. My
Okay.
poor choice of words.
Mr. Tepper, how large is the board in Condo 29?
The board of Condo 29 is 9 members.
Was it unanimous? I'm just curious.
I'm sorry?
Unanimous,
Was what unanimous?
the support of this?
Was there a vote?
Was there a vote to support this?
there was no vote because we had instituted it. We initiated this many months ago.
Okay,
So there was not a specific vote for that, no.
okay.
Okay.
But in your estimation, as the president of the condo board, the vast majority of the people were in favor of it?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You see it? Go ahead, come on up.
Well, no, I'll sit on this, but I can't do.
I think we can move.
Just move the
Yeah.
microphone.
I'll hold it.
Yeah, there you go.
Good evening. I thank the board for the opportunity to comment on the matter of the public hearing. But before I address that, I would like to thank Councilman Garrity, who is stepping down from this board in September for his 18 years of service on this board. I read this in the Somers record that prior to this board, he served 7 years on the planning board and zoning board. 25 years of public service is remarkable dedication to our town community. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Having served 15 years on the town of North Castle Planning Board, six as chairman, counseled by Roland Baroni,
Oh,
I understand the time demands and the impact on one's personal life. By the way, please don't count these 45 seconds against my 3 minutes.
don't worry.
I bought myself time with that.
This is a public hearing, so there's a little bit different rules than the public comment. But go ahead. And you said nice things about me, so.
No, yeah, they don't count.
Extra
That was
minutes.
the point.
I'm the timekeeper tonight, so it worked.
Okay, now to the matter at hand, the one stop sign on West Street Drive. I asked the board to instead consider reinstating the amendments to the town laws approved at the December 14th, 2023 public hearing, allowing for four new stop signs, 2 on Westridge and 2 on West Hill. That approval was made after this board did its due diligence and agreed on those safety improvements as necessary. At your July 11, 2024 public hearing, at the request of Heritage Hill Society, those laws were rescinded. Rescinding those common sense laws, which were going to provide important and overdue safety improvements, is incomprehensible, disheartening, and tragic, just plain wrong. The chronology of events is important to understand, or review rather, because it is evidence that the initial cooperation between Condo 29 and society, on the basis of which Condo 29 proceeded with its application. On June 12th, 2023, myself and Arthur Epstein, both residents of Condo 29, and I'm speaking tonight as a resident. I am the former president of Condo 29, but tonight I no longer, so I'm a resident. I lost my train. Okay. Myself and Arthur Epstein, both residents in Condo 29, met with John Milligan and Nancy O'Malley of Heritage Management. John is the property manager for Society and Nancy is the property manager for Condo 29. The purpose was to determine the steps needed to approve 4 new stop signs. John said he did not know the process, but coincidentally, there was going to be a society board meeting the next day, June 13th, 2023, at which he would discuss the matter with the board. All society board members were present at that meeting. On June 14, 2023, Dom Rubino, then president of society board, sent in an email to Alan Tepper and also to the society, also a society board member and president of Condo 29. The brief email said, there was some confusion on society's role in this matter that I want to clear up. Society will support the project and can be used for advice and suggestions. Condo 29, however, must take the lead on what needs to be done, and any cost will be the condo's responsibility. On June 15th, 2023, John Milligan sent Arthur Epstein an email from which I quote the relevant statements. Any actions taken to make our roads safer for drivers and walkers are worth pursuing, and society is quite willing to support that effort. If there is anything I can do to help, please let me know. Honoring their commitment to help, they installed a temporary electronic speed sign which recorded the number of vehicles and their speeds, and that data was part of the submission that Condo 29 made on their application. Due to these words, the actions in society, and the evidence of disagreement, do these words, directions and actions of society show any evidence of disagreement? At a duly noticed public hearing on December 14th, 2020, at which this board approved the 29 application, society offered no objections. Okay. Sometime in the spring of 2024, Ms. Gloria Anderson requested the town grant a public hearing to rescind the traffic amendments. At that July 11, 2024 hearing, she led you to believe that she had no knowledge of Condo 29's application until months after it was approved. A, she was present at the June 13th, 2023 Society Board meeting at which the matter was discussed. And B, I find it difficult to believe that she, as first vice president and legal chair of society at that time, had no knowledge of Condo 29's application and the support society's president and property manager offered. At the public hearing, she discredited the board president, Dom Rubino, by suggesting that he acted alone without knowledge of the board. Additionally, she damned him with faint praise with the following statement: Mr. Rubino is a wonderful president, but he is not an attorney, has no background in this type of situation, and, quote, was completely unaware of what was going on. You could check the video on that one. How would you like to serve on the board with a person that makes a statement like that about you to members of the board, and no less at a public hearing? This board rescinded the 12/15/23 approval on the basis that you did not want to be involved with the dispute between Condo 29 and society. You also suggested the parties meet to resolve those differences. A week or two after that public meeting, myself and 2 or 3 other members of Condo 29 board met with Mr. Rubino, Ms. Anderson, and a few other society members. Society reps pointed out, and Ms. Anderson just alluded to, the clearing and cutting of some trees needed to be done, and within days, Condo 29 had that work done. Regarding the stop signs, we pointed out that at several other locations in Heritage Hills that have much less traffic than Westridge and West Hill, society had no comment on those stop signs.
Are you coming to a conclusion?
Almost.
Okay. Another minute or two.
Can I take back my thanks?
Yes, go ahead. People do it all the time, don't worry.
Okay. We agreed to meet and discuss the issues at a further date. In the meantime, society had erected a electronic speed monitoring device and did paint the slow sign letter, if you would, on the road. We requested data from the speed monitor and were told that data is proprietary. I can't figure out how possibly data like that could possibly be proprietary and why. For several months, we requested to meet again as agreed, but we're told society reps were too busy. We had no knowledge of the one stop sign petition intention until we read this application reviewed by you. In the meantime, speeding on Westridge continues. I make note of the fact that on June 12th, 25 public hearing for the reinstallment of the Westridge Street signs, which Condo 29 supports, Ms. Anderson made the following statements: Westridge is the only entrance into Heritage Hills from Lovell. And it's the main entrance into West Hill for residents, visitors, and service people. I would also add it is a major cut through for non-residents from Mahopac and Carmel heading to Somers Center and Route 100. Arguably, Westridge is the second most busiest road in Heritage, and denying stop signs needed for safety as previously approved by this board makes no sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we
Thank
get your
you.
name again?
Douglas Casetta,
Yeah.
707B Heritage.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Arthur, I think you were next.
I don't think.
Can't hear you.
You're still,
They got it. That's on the record. They got it on the video.
Okay.
You don't need the statement right there. You don't.
You want to give it to us for the record, you can.
Okay, there we go.
Fine. You're welcome. You don't have my name on it. I'm sorry.
it's a,
You want to write my name on it, that's all.
Thank you.
2 days ago, I sent a letter to each member of the town board and the supervisor, itemizing all the reasons why the actions of society have been unreasonable, based on hearsay, and can only be perceived as a power play to stop Condo 29. The biggest point that Ms. Anderson made was, if we let Condo 29 get the stop signs, there will be chaos. All the other condos will flood the town with stop sign requests. And everybody duly nodded your heads saying, oh, that would be terrible, that would be terrible. But the premise is completely false. The rules are that if a condo wants stop signs, that they have to ask society's permission. Society clearly, as Doug pointed out, gave us substantial permission, support, guidance, and instructions that we followed, and 165 Heritage Hills residents from all over Heritage Hills signed the petition. So premise number one is categorically false. Nothing will get to the town without going through society, and society can simply say no, and that's the end of it. All the other points become minor beyond that one. I was trying to figure out why society brought forward this request for one single stop sign. In consideration to the 4 stop signs that we asked for, that location is the least significant, and there are 3 others that it's a miracle accidents haven't happened, including to our property manager, Nancy O'Malley, who at the point that we started this process described pulling out of Laurel, which is 1 block before West Hill, and turning left toward the single stop sign. When a car came, I guess it's southbound or westbound, coming down West Hill, zipped around that corner and just barely missed hitting Nancy. Nancy was shaking. I talked to her right after it. The stop signs at West Hill at the end of Westridge are, by a factor of 10, the most important stop signs. Again, I was scratching my head why that particular stop sign on the corner of Bellflower. And curiously, it happens to be at the corner of a house where a member of society lives. That member also happens to be Alan Tepper. Alan's representation that the Condo 29 board wholeheartedly supports the request by society for the stop sign is probably categorically false. I was on the board for 6 years. I know most of the board members on a personal basis, and not one of them could give any explanation as to the rationale for the stop sign. When society put in the new radar speed sign with the numbers and everything, I asked John Milligan, as he did for the prior stop sign, would he please give me the raw data? I processed all the raw data from the first old sign, and that was a major part of the presentation to the town, based on which the town congratulated Condo 29, including me, for the thoroughness and the details of our presentation. When I asked John in the email, would he please give me access to the data from the new stop sign, I got no response. And then a little bit later, I got a email that I think was private from Gloria Anderson to me that absolutely floored me. She said, it's proprietary. You can't have it. How on earth can data about a road that goes right through all of our houses be deemed proprietary? And more important, if society did such a good job getting that fancy new sign, where is the data that shows any improvement whatsoever from that sign? There is none, or it would have been included in the report.
Arthur, we are, wrap it up.
I beg the board to do the right thing, reject society's sham request that's there to indicate that they negotiated with Condo 29 and they're doing the right thing. It's a fake to make it look like they're doing the right thing. They're doing nothing but obstructing. And town board, please give us the 4 stop signs. Thank you for your time.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, the 4 stop signs are not on the agenda for this evening.
Right. That's not even on the agenda, right?
It's not even on the agenda this evening. What's on there is the 1 stop sign at Westridge Drive in the westerly direction towards Lovell Street.
Is there anybody else to speak?
Anybody else?
No, okay.
Question for you.
When they come up here,
Come up. You have to come up
to the,
and identify yourself.
Yeah.
Fred Higgum. Usually during these meetings, you have like a 3-minute.
that's coming up next, Fred.
That's
Coming up next.
It's coming up next.
Public hearings are.
Oh, yeah.
Public hearings are different than public.
Comment.
Public
Yeah.
comment is 3 minutes.
Yeah. You could talk about anything public comment. This is just on these specific things.
Right. But we don't let you go on forever.
Okay?
Yeah,
Nice.
listen, I'm not even gonna go where I wanted to go a few seconds ago. I was just kind of sitting here and just taking it all in, what I've been hearing and stuff like that, and the conflict going back and forth between Condo 29 and some other people and everything like that. It just kind of just, I think the board maybe kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth when I hear the back and forth and conspiracy theories going on, and how people are trying to pull one over a neighbor and stuff like that. It just, yeah, I'm at a loss for words, man. That's all. And sort of reading some of the comments and hearing some of the stuff and people throwing people under the bus and trying to, get one up on you. Normally that's not what we do, but if that's the way you want to conduct it and handle yourself, then go for it. I think I said the same thing one time before about here. I'm trying to teach our children in today's age, and we wouldn't get 13-year-olds to do that, or 11-year-olds. They kind of know better, and hopefully next time we can set an example for future generations. I'm going to close out the public hearing on that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Here's my question.
Go ahead.
Here's my question. We want public safety, right? I mean, that's what we're here for. What you got here just seems to be like the supervisor said, who's in charge? I mean, that's all. As a councilman, that's what I want to know. who speaks for that area? Some say, Mr. Epstein says, gentleman over there, Doug says they speak for it. Others say they do. So like, I mean, there has to be, does this have to go to court where you have to hammer this out? Is this like House of Representatives and Senate and all that, where you're going to say who's got it? Hold a second.
No.
And
it's closed.
and so, that's the thing that I don't understand how that exists. And, it is better to be neighborly and speak well of each other. I would agree with the supervisor there. Always in our country, we have, people who don't always follow that. And this wasn't terrible, but it wasn't really good. So anyway, that's just I just want to know, all right, who speaks for the welfare of Heritage Hills there? I'm ready to go with that. That safety is what we're talking about here, but who speaks?
And that's what we're talking about.
Right.
And what's on the agenda is one stop sign here for tonight.
No. There's not a debate back.
Yeah, no.
Close the public hearing.
I have. This is, my friend's, Mark Halson from Granite Springs, but my friend, a good friend of mine for 50 years, his wife was walking his dog and a 17-year-old kid was texting him and went through the stop sign and she died.
Yeah.
So if you could put a stop sign to avoid a death.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well,
Are you saying he ran?
whatever we make safe,
Stop sign didn't.
we want to make things as safe as possible.
All right, so
Rob,
we're gonna vote.
We're gonna take a vote on the stop sign on West Ridge Drive and in the Wesley direction towards Lovell Street.
Can I ask one question?
Go ahead, sir.
The one question I have is, if I'm not mistaken, when we put it out to the fire department
Correct.
and to others, can we just mention their responses?
Sure. The Bureau of Fire Prevention was not in favor of this. Highway Department was not in favor of it. Police Department was not in favor of it. Planning was not in favor only with a few provisions, which I believe some of those provisions were followed. The tree removal, portable speed signs and locations to alert speeders and provide additional pavement markings, which it was all done, correct? Yes, right?
That's what they were suggested to do.
Yes, that's what they were suggesting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But the others were not in favor of the one sign.
They're not in favor.
No, that's why I knew that. I
That
wanted to get.
why they're in favor of 4.
No, they're not in favor of the 4.
They're not in favor of either.
They supported the 4.
I don't believe they did. I don't believe they did.
They
I don't believe they did,
support-
but it doesn't matter.
All right, but-
The four are not.
What's on the agenda here is just the one stop sign.
Let's go to the one.
All the departments supported the 4.
All right.
No, I'm going to make a motion. We vote.
Got the dots. Okay.
Don't stop me. Go
All
ahead.
right.
You want to
Make a motion to vote.
Okay.
make a motion here to for the stop sign at West Ridge Drive and Wesley direction towards Lovell Street?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. It's unanimous. Thank you. All right, on to public comment here.
No, what was the motion to?
For the stop sign, to place the one stop sign. Yeah,
Yes.
adopt the local law for the one stop sign at West Ridge Drive and Wesley direction towards Lovell Street. Okay?
You adopted it or you, I didn't hear what the vote was.
Yeah, we didn't vote. We gotta do a roll call or.
I want to do a roll call?
We
Okay.
just-
I thought we
That was just to
Yeah.
close the hearing.
That's the closing. All right, so I'll make a, Patty, can we do a roll call, please, on the stop sign on West Ridge Drive and Wesley direction towards Lovell Street?
Yes. Councilman William G. Faulkner,
Abstain.
Councilman, sorry. Richard G. Clinchy,
I'd be in favor of the 1, but I don't want to discount the possibility of adding to that.
Yeah, we're just voting on the one.
I understand. I'm just stating my opinion on this. If I'm going to have to vote on this tonight, but I would like to know more. So maybe, I don't know what that, maybe we just should wait till we get all
Choices, right?
information. All right. So if I have to make a choice, then I say put a stop sign in.
So you're in fa-
Yes.
That would be
I'll say yes.
Yes.
a long-winded yes.
Councilman Anthony J. Sirico,
Yes.
Councilman Thomas A. Garrity Jr.
Yes.
Supervisor Rob Scarano.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay.
That's it. On to public comment. Make a motion to open up public comment.
Second.
Dang it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
So just as we get into public comment, and some people have just made comments out there, we obviously have a large crowd, we have a large agenda. Public comment is for comments not about topics not on the agenda. Some towns do not let non-residents speak. Somers does not do that. We let everybody speak, but we have a 3-minute rule that we will hold to. So I am the timer. When we hit 3 minutes, we are stopping and moving on. Okay? Thank you.
Anybody like to come up?
Good evening. Name is Fred Higgum. I live at 23 Jean Way in Somers. And now I'd like to start the timer here.
I started it.
You started already?
Got it.
Oh,
Don't worry.
trouble.
Fred, say something nice, you get more time.
The minute, no, not for public hearing or comment.
Okay,
Different rule.
okay. They said, good evening. My name is Fred Higgum. I've been a resident of Somers for 1978. As some of you may know, my wife, Linda, my bride of the past over 50 years, passed away last November after a 9-month battle with cancer. Knowing that the end was near, Linda and I had a day or two to talk about a number of things that were on our minds. In one of our conversations, Linda looked me straight in the eyes and said, Fred, keep fighting to save Granite Point and protect the Amawak Reservoir. I know how much that place means to you and how much you love it. Fred, I want you to keep fighting for it. So now you know where I'm coming from, okay?
Mhm.
I recently heard a benediction at a church here in Somers that struck me like a thunderbolt that I think has a lot to do with what's going on with Granite Point. And it goes like this. May God grant you the grace to never sell yourself short, grace to risk something big for something good, grace to remember that the world is now too dangerous for anything but truth and too small for anything but love. Somers Supervisors Scarano, Councilman Garrity, Saricchio, Clinchy, and Faulkner, as a group, may God grant you the grace never to sell yourself short. In your heart of hearts, you must all know that building any kind of housing development at Granite Point is wrong on so many levels, especially on a moral basis. It's a question of right and wrong. Don't cave into the original awful idea that should never gotten past the what-if stage. As Supervisor Scarano told me during one of our meetings last year, there are plenty of other places in Somers where new housing developments can be built with lesser environmental damage. Allowing any kind of housing development on the 29 acres at Granite Point will be a monumental mistake that will haunt you and future Somers government members and future and current families in Somers. Next, I wish you all the grace to risk for something big and good. I have here in my hands an article from the New York Times dated December 14th, 2003, and it's all about Granite Point. And guess what it says? In the article, the landowner, the developer, says he will sue the town if it continues to delay signing the final easements before his building can begin. Does that sound familiar to you people? That's over 20 years ago. How many times and in how many ways have Somers officials heard that since? I have a quote for you. Motivation by fear is not good motivation. Next, gentlemen, may God grant you the grace to remember that the world is now too dangerous for anything but truth. Stop fooling yourselves. It's not 1989. It's 2025. There are new truths out there today. 23 septic tank fields. I'll be finished in a minute. 23 septic tank fields built on land that slopes down to the Amawak Reservoir does not make sense. Climate change is here and now. Look at what's happening in Texas, North Carolina, Arizona, California. The list goes on. The amplitude of weather extremes will continue to increase.
Sir, wrap it up. I'm sorry. It's a 3-minute limit, and if I keep doing it, then everybody's going to say, give me another minute, give me another minute, give me another minute. We have 3 minutes. So we thank you for your comments. If you have it written down, you can put it in and we'll make it part of the record with the town clerk.
Thank you. I was almost finished.
So I know, but like I said,
That's the way, if that's the way it is, fine. And I'll give a copy to your secretary here.
thank you.
Okay?
She's
Thank you.
she's town clerk.
Yeah.
Town clerk, excuse me.
Yes. Oh, respectfully.
Thank you.
Me too. Me too.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you,
much.
Fred.
Anybody else?
Hi there, I'm Sean. 25-year Somers resident. At your September 7, 2023 work session, you adopted a resolution committing to protect at least 30% of the ecological important lands, waters within Somers by 2030. You called this your 30-30 resolution. Where does your resolution to protect at least 30% of the ecologically significant lands and waters fit within the 29-acre forested land at the Amarok Reservoir, known as Granite Point Housing Development Site? Is granting full approvals for the development of land on a reservoir to a private developer an ecological victory? Perhaps rescuing the Granite Point site from the development should be your immediate environmental concern. The rescue and conservation of Granite Point should be at the front and core of the board's 30 by 30 resolution. Again, this resolution is to protect at least 30% of the town ecologically significant land and water bodies this decade. If you are excluding Granite Point from your 30 by 30 resolution, you should let New York State public know why. As you know, this is the only New York State and Westchester County designated critical environmental area, which happens to lay in the Somers borders. Are you planning to conserve this area or encourage development on it? Thank you.
Thank you. Can we get your name again? We didn't get it at the beginning.
Sean Mann?
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dave Wimet. I see some familiar faces. Tom, thanks for your wonderful career in public service.
Nice seeing you, Dave.
Bill, how you doing? Good evening. I've called Somers home for more than 20 years, raised my children here. I know what clean air and quiet mornings feel like. I know what it means to belong to a town that values nature, integrity, and foresight. Tonight, I'm not here to debate the fine print of a subdivision. I'm here to ask you to remember what's been forgotten in towns just like ours when decisions were made in haste or worse, in comfort. In Woburn, Mass, town officials approved industrial development over what seemed like harmless wetland. Years later, childhood leukemia cases emerged. The water was poisoned. The story became a book and a movie. A civil action. No victory could undo the loss of those children. In the 1980s, in Sparta, where my brother lives, New Jersey, a peaceful residential development was built downstream of an old trap shooting range. It wasn't until decades later, when wells tested high for lead and arsenic, that the connection was made. Parents panicked, lawsuits followed, and faith in local leadership never recovered. In Nassau County, Long Island, officials approved dense development over aquifer recharge zones. It was legal, it was permitted, but it was wrong. Today, hundreds of thousands of residents rely on bottled water. Their tap water has a warning label now. Each of those stories began with a choice, a quiet vote, a nod to what was already approved, and a hope that consequences wouldn't come call, but they always do. The land in question here in Somers is not just dirt, it's a responsibility. And the people in this room, all of you, are its final guardians. What you decide will echo. I know this decision is complicated. I know there are voices in favor, but I also know this. No one ever regrets preserving clean water. No one ever loses sleep because they protected something sacred. The truth is, future generations won't remember what was zoned for, but they will live with what we chose to protect or what we chose to ignore. So I'm asking you, from one neighbor to another, make the hard choice, make the right choice. Let Somers be a town that says, not here, not to this. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank
Hi, my name is Mark Hasslinger. I'm with Diane Hasslinger. We live at 5 Gwin Drive across the street from the Amarok Reservoir. And I've been bringing this up for the last 20 years. The groundwater in Granite Point Springs is only 8 to 12 feet. Where are you going to put the 23 septic tanks that they proposed? I know the Somers artesian wells are 300 feet deep. So I don't know where you get the house is going to get the water. And also, where is all the storm water is going to go? And also the seepage from the septic tanks. If they're going to build homes 200 feet from the reservoir, where's that going to seep into? It's going to seep into the reservoir. And all the fertilization of the lawns of 23 homes is going to seep into the reservoirs. You know, my children are older now, 29 and 32. They moved out of the area, but obviously we still fight for the area. We want to know what the future children will be safe and all water be safe. People are talking about other areas, but in Danbury, Candlewood Lake, the town approved to build the homes around the lake, and that lake is polluted from all the septic tanks that they built right by the lake. So it's very obvious that it's going to pollute the reservoir. So that's the biggest concern. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Julie Woogan. I've lived in Somer 38 years. The town board seems to be following a double standard in declaring itself the lead agency on other land conversion proceedings, but not on Granite Point. For example, in October 2023, the board declared itself the lead agency for the North Edge Realty housing subdivision planned in Baldwin Place. This subdivision, unlike Granite Point, is away from any public water supply and away from a critical environmental area as designated by both New York State and Westchester County. If the board's lead agency for a land conversion that seems to have so much less of an environmental impact, the town board should certainly be the lead agency for the Granite Point and protect this critical site. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Okay. Gotta be others.
George.
Good evening. I'm Julia Radu. For historical context to others in the room, Somers takes pride in being known as the birthplace of the American circus. This is why we see this stone sculpture of an elephant that once used to stand outside on a column near the main entrance. And this used to be the Elephant Hotel. But the real elephant is not outside. The real elephant is in this room. It is the moment of truth on Granite Point. It is your willingness or unwillingness to take ownership and responsibility for what your predecessors, the predecessor town board of the 1990s, delegated and abandoned to your planning board appointees to handle and or to dispose of in line with the interests of the 1990s. The reasons for your predecessors' delegation and abandonment of critical public and environmental assets might exist in county board of elections records, which one of your own former town board members searched and found. The real elephant in this room is your willingness or unwillingness to correct errors of the past by taking over from your planning board appointees and assuming lead agency responsibility for Granite Point. Given the unique sites, public water, environmental, ecological, and public scenic resource significance, and for its cross-border heavy impacts. The real elephant in this room is your willingness or unwillingness to see clearly the harm you and your predecessors have inflicted on the public and on the environment with your failure to act to protect and preserve the forested promontory and the water supply of tens of thousands of local area residents and hundreds of thousands more downstream through the Croton Reservoir system. Your failure to correct errors of the past and to work with urgency to protect and preserve vital living resources has caused moral injury to the New York State public. Moral injury is defined as the violation of our ethical values that vital living things must be protected and not given away for destruction and pollution for private profit at incalculable permanent public cost. You and your predecessors have caused the public to suffer moral injury over the past 22 years, a quarter of a lifetime spent on this uphill struggle to rescue and protect what you and your appointees failed to protect. Just like baby elephants suffered under the cruel whip of circus masters, the forested promontory and the public water supply, the vital greenway corridor, the bald eagle habitat, the fishing waters, the public scenic vistas, and we, the people,
Wrap it up.
suffering under the whip of delegation, under your whip of delegation, abandonment, silence, and inaction.
Okay. Good.
It is an outdated model for any town government. I need 10 more seconds.
Yep.
It is an outdated model for any town government to operate in the Western world in 2025 in this way, in this fashion. It is long past due for you to act decisively to end the Grand Point anachronistic, irresponsible, harmful, and questionably fully approved planning board proceeding. We the people, speaking for the defenseless environment and for our sources of living, ask you once again tonight and once and for all, end Granite Point now.
Anybody else?
Hi, I'm George Klein, honored board. I'm the vice chair of the Sierra Club Lower Hudson Group, which encompasses Westchester, Putnam, and a little bit of Orange counties. The Sierra Club is the oldest environmental organization in the United States. Part of our mission is to educate and enlist people to protect the natural environment. We pursued this mission jointly with other environmental organizations over the land conversion proceeding that was fully approved by the Somers Planning Board. Granite Point is unfortunately planned to replace a forested peninsula surrounded on three sides by a primary public water supply, and as you know, is the site of a Westchester County designated critical environmental area. I'm holding in my hands here letters jointly written by us in the Sierra Club, other environmental organizations, to former Somers Supervisor Murphy, to former DEP Commissioner Ward, and to former DEC Commissioner Sheehan, urging acquisition and preservation of the site as open space, as watershed, and as a public scenic asset. I'm also holding in my hand the end-use report on Granite Point, independently researched and produced by the Westchester Land Trust. This end-use report was requested by your predecessor town board, and it determined that the highest end use of the site is acquisition and preservation in its entirety as open space for watershed protection. All of the above and incalculably more advocacy and activism efforts over the past 2 decades by the public, environmental organizations, and the Westchester Land Trust have been hindered by the site's contamination in need of remediation. Somers Supervisor Murphy assured the public in 2008 that an acquisition funding consortium would be formed under Somers' leadership as soon as remediation was done. Now we're at this juncture, so let's move forward. The that this decision has impacts far beyond Somers, namely in Yorktown. Focus should be now on site acquisition and preservation in its entirety, and on fulfilling Supervisor Murphy's pledge that an acquisition funding consortium would be formed under Somers' leadership upon completion of the remediation. The Sierra Club, our sister environmental organizations, and the public across affected towns far beyond look to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm good.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your name again?
You. Fine.
Thanks, George.
Thank you, sir.
Somers resident? George, you a Somers resident?
I live in Ossining.
Ossining.
Thank you.
Good town too.
Good evening, Supervisor Scarano and members of the town board. I'm Sarah Wilson, a resident of Yorktown Heights since 1991. I am served by the Northern Westchester Joint Waterworks with water from the Amawalk Reservoir. Fresh water obviously is one of our most precious resources. Last summer, the DEC completed their cleanup of the lead-contaminated Superfund site of the former shooting range and trap shooting at the edge of the reservoir. We're now awaiting notification regarding the issuance of the final engineering report, the FER, granting a clean bill of health to the site. I'm wondering whether the FER has been issued. Has the town board been told when to expect it? It should be around now because it was completed last summer. Once issued, what is the intent of the Somers Town Board with respect to the Granite Point subdivision? After the lakeshore area around the reservoir was designated as a critical environmental area by Westchester County in 1990, the Granite Point subdivision plan should have been shelved. The fact that we're here 35 years later, still talking about building these million-dollar houses on that site is a sign that this is all about the developer's profits and not about protecting the water that so many of us, including myself, rely on. I serve on the Community Housing Board in Yorktown, so I certainly understand the critical need for more housing, especially for housing that's priced within reach of our young families and our seniors. But this project doesn't serve that group. Only the wealthy are going to be able to afford these homes, Lakeview homes. Our reservoirs are already dealing with high levels of salinity from road salt runoff. Adding more roads, driveways, and other impermeable surfaces is just going to add to this problem. Additionally, the use of fertilizers and pesticides will add PFAS, PFOA, forever chemicals into this vital water source, which serves roughly 35,000 Yorktown residents and approximately 2,500 Somers residents. I am chair of Sierra Club Lower Hudson Group. We've been engaged in long-standing efforts to protect water in the Kensico Reservoir from PFAS and other problems. We now stand with these concerned citizens who have been advocating to stop the development at Amawalk's Granite Point. I urge the board to assume lead agency status and determine how this land can be acquired from the current owner and protected from development for future generations. Thank you very much.
Anyone else?
All right, excellent.
Nope. Okay,
Make a motion.
yeah. I'll make a motion to close out public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you, everyone, for your comments.
Do you want me to clarify anything?
If you'd like, Roland.
So just facts for those present. This board cannot be a lead agency on an application that doesn't require its approvals. So the difference between the example you cited, North Edge, the property needs to be rezoned. in order to do what the applicant wants to do there. So this board has a role in that. This board is the only board that can grant a rezone. So here, in that case, it could be the lead agency. But in the Granite Point case, there are no approvals that came to the town board. The approvals are only with the planning board. So the planning board did assume lead agency status for Granite Point. It issued a positive determination that there could be impacts on the environment, and it required the preparation of a draft environmental impact statement. It held public hearings on that document. It required a final environmental impact statement, and it issued environmental findings, which normally closes out the environmental review. But then the contamination on the site became known, and the planning board reassumed lead agency status and took the extraordinary step of requiring a supplemental draft environmental impact statement and a final environmental impact statement. And it had public hearings, and it issued further environmental findings, all in lockstep with the Department of Environmental Conservation of New York State and the New York City Department of Environmental Protection. The approvals are in place. What has held up the development of that property is the remediation, which is being overseen by the Department of Environmental Conservation. The environmental review was closed by the planning board. This board has no play in any of this at this juncture. You all need to accept these facts because that's all they are. They're in the record. They're factual.
Thanks, Roland.
That's not correct.
Secret finding statement of February 1998, you will see assertions such as, and therefore there will be no impact on ecological resources and total impact on drinking water supply. Assertions were made that are just not valid. A truthful environmental impact statement was never completed by Granite Point in accordance with Seeker's hard look requirement. A hard look was never undertaken.
I disagree with you.
Wait,
Well, this wasn't.
No, we're
supposed
not
to be
gonna-
about-
Hey, Roland just clarified something, but
Prior to these layers of the designation, but additional over the fall, because hard look requirement, the planning for failed to undertake either.
Julie, I'll let you finish your thought.
But we're not going to respond.
We're not going to respond. I don't want to get caught in a back and forth, going back and forth.
Doesn't this board, but town board.
And he just told you.
Barney stated why.
And, all right, Julia, we're not gonna get caught in a back and forth here today.
Well,
Julia, we're not gonna get caught in a
Not
back
gonna
and forth. That's a different story. it's a whole,
It's also not for today. It's not.
it's not for today.
I understand your point,
Oh, no, Rich.
but that's not it. But I do have a question for the lawyer.
Just please answer the question.
Your question is, why don't I do that? Julia, I'm not gonna get caught into a back and forth conversation about what we're doing and what we're not doing, okay? You had your opportunity to speak in front of the public.
That's it. We're going to the next.
We're going to the next agenda item. Julia,
I do.
okay? Julia.
So, we understand the question.
Yeah, that's a point. You've made the point. Yes, we hear it.
We've heard your
We
point.
hear it.
We've heard your.
Can't answer it now.
Rob,
But I do have
next-
a question,
I'm
for Mr. Baroni.
Okay.
Does the DEP weigh in on this at all because it's a New York City reservoir? Do you
DEP
have to
was,
give any approvals?
the DEP was an involved agency
Right.
because of the proximity,
Right.
and the preparation of stormwater prevention pollution plan.
Right.
And it is granted its approvals. And as I said, DEC is overseeing the remediation of the property.
Do they have
So
any
these other agencies are involved.
Right. Do they have the right, this is my question, when there is a final proposal, do they have the ability to look at that and say, okay or not okay? Or has that already been done by the DEP?
They had the option of being the lead agency, both of those agencies, but they deferred to the local planning board, as they often do. So
Right.
the planning board assumed lead agency and went through the environmental review process twice, not just once, but once the contamination became evident, they reassumed
Right.
the lead agency status.
Okay.
Thanks, Roland. Patty, can we go into department reports, please?
Yes, I have reports from the town clerk, building inspector, zoning board of appeals, plumbing, Bureau of Fire Prevention, Parks and Recreation, Planning and Engineering, Tax Receiver, and Director of Finance. I also need to announce
Oh,
a
yes.
liquor license application that has been filed for Jade Hill Restaurant and Catering. Their DBA name is pending. That's located at 1000 West Hill Drive in Heritage Hills. I received that application on June 25th. I received an email today requesting a 30-day waiver of that application so that they can process this sooner. So if there's no objection, I need a motion for a 30-day waiver.
I'll make the motion for a 30-day waiver.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Moved.
And we've done that before. This is
Yeah.
not out of the blue.
Usually.
Usually we do it for renewal when they're they've not done what they needed to do in time. They just want to get opened.
Got it.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right, let's move on to business of the board, the town board. So we did have our July 4th celebration on July 3rd. A little rainy at times,
The windy.
a little windy.
Little, to say the least.
5 o'clock, we started a little bit later than we would have liked with proclamations for a few residents here in town. One gentleman was turning Robert Tony turning 100 years old, and the other girl,
World War II vet.
what was her last? Camarilla?
Yes.
Yes. She helps the veterans out tremendously, so we gave her a proclamation too. Both had their names up in lights at Reese Park. We probably had close to 1,200, maybe 1,500 people there, even with the rain. It was a great night, great time. So we'll do it again next year, of course. Let's go on to
Next year's even bigger, right?
next year. About 250 years.
Yeah.
Correct. We have to figure out the date for this one, depending on
Right.
what everything happens.
Mr. Supervisor, we need to get used to the term semi-quintennial.
Semi-quincennial.
Get used to it.
Tennial.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I don't need to get used.
I'll go.
That means
it's gonna be
that
250 for me.
half of 5
It's gonna be 2
years, so.
Here on the-
Half of 5.
Yeah, I know. What's the word?
Semi-quintennial.
Let's go on to number 2, Green Tree subdivision. Acknowledge receipt of the following. Dave, do you want to come up and just say a few things on this?
So just to give you an update, as you recall, the Green Tree subdivision was reviewed by the planning board, I guess, 2 years or so ago, as part of the 280A referral process. The applicant in that application has submitted paperwork to the building inspector, and this is all provided for you as way of background because your board at some point in time may be asked to entertain the 280A process. But the applicant has submitted an application to the building department for a notice of denial with respect to the zoning code relative to the width of a common driveway. So they've submitted that to the department with the hopes of getting on the zoning board agenda for having that matter discussed in more detail. Ultimately, whatever decision is made by the zoning board, that matter is going to come back before you for your consideration. And part of the update to you was just identifying that there were a number of different options that the town board could take with respect to the 288 process once it gets to you and after a determination is made by the zoning board.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any questions, guys?
No.
No? All right, number A on this is
Thank you.
a letter from Cuddy and Fetter LLP, subject to Green Tree subdivision, Town of Somers, County of Westchester, dated June 6, 2025. And then B is an email from Dave Smith, subject attorney correspondence, Green Tree Road, dated July 1st, 2025. I'm going to put A and B both together. I'll make a motion here to acknowledge the letter and the email.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved.
And this is all on the website, all the details
Yes.
attached to the agenda, if anybody wants to see it.
For number 3 here, Patty and Linda, we're going to take number 3 off the agenda. Okay. On to number 4. Consider adoption of the updated administrative procedures for the town-owned foreclosed properties. Make a motion to adopt the updated procedures. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Number 5, acknowledge completion of the receipt of the Town Justice Court audit by our certified public accountant, PKF O'Connor Davies, in accordance with section 2019-A of the Uniform Justice Court Act for the year ending December 31st, 2024. I'll make a motion to acknowledge.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Number 6, award bid to paint the exterior of the townhouse from Spidal Contracting, the amount of $108,000 per memo dated July 3rd, 2025, from Thomas J. Tuma Jr., Building Inspector. Make a motion to award the bid.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Number 7, Patty Strick, take out the word award and put authorize. Authorize bid to inspect the townhouse 3rd floor fire escape inspection to Cross River Architects LLC in the amount of $1 per memo dated July 3rd, 2025, from Thomas J. Tuma Jr., Building Inspector. Make a motion to authorize.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Number 8, consider the recommendation to demolish a dwelling located at 1 Oak Drive, 28.18-1-16, as per 77-5 of the Code of the Town of Somers, per memo dated July 3rd, from Robert Russell, Code Enforcement Officer. I'd like to make a motion to schedule a public hearing for August 14th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Request to purchase and install a new replacement generator for the Windsor Farm Sewer Station from Gentech in the amount of $8,600 per memo dated July 7th, 2025, from Frederick McQuillan, Superintendent of Water and Sewer. I'll make a motion to purchase the generator.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Steve, you're going to be coming up here. Steve makes his way up. Authorize supervisor to execute the documents for the revised Crest 26851 grant that will be used for the purchase of 2 plug-in hybrid vehicles, 1 battery electric utility vehicle for Parks and Recreation Department, a battery-powered tools at Parks for Parks and Town Property Maintenance, per email dated June 6 from Steve Robbins, Woodard and Curran, Town Engineer. Steve.
So the background on this is back in 2023, the town submitted a grant application to purchase 2 electric vehicles with state funds through the CREST program. That was approved. In the process of administering and obtaining the paperwork and the funding for that project, the town's Energy and Environment Committee was able to secure funding to upgrade the existing charging station here at the townhouse. And the town has undertaken other projects in recent years to install charging stations at Reese Park and at the Highway Department as well. When we took a close look at this particular grant application, we thought it made better sense to request, I'm sorry, let me back up. I'm mixing up two projects here. The original grant application for this was not for electric vehicles. It was for additional charging stations. let me say that again. The original application here was for additional charging stations here at the townhouse, at Van Tassel, the police department, at Parks Department, and at Highway. So with the context of that application for additional charging stations, the subsequent provision of charging stations and upgrades of this one with other funds, and the fact that the town doesn't have a fleet of electric vehicles to charge at them, we revisited this grant application. We've had some discussions with the state to request a change in this grant application from additional charging stations to a combination of 2 plug-in hybrid electric vehicles that can utilize the charging stations that the town currently has, to move forward with that fleet electrification in a cost-effective manner. And then with additional grant funds, look at essentially an electric side-by-side unit for use by parks, and some electric tools for Parks Department use as well, especially in areas that are away from the road or environmentally sensitive sites where they might not want to tote in gasoline for tools, and also to demonstrate to the public that these are equipment and materials that can be used in a commercial and municipal context, which is all consistent with the CREST grant program. So this request is to authorize the town board or authorize the supervisor to request that change from the state for a different provision of the grant funds that have been awarded to make better use of them.
Okay.
All right.
One question I'm sure I've asked you or when I was meeting with the Energy Environment Committee, the 2 vehicles, 2 hybrid, plug-in hybrid vehicles, do we have a specific use or department that they're going to be assigned to, or we're going to wait till we have that to see where that need would be?
I know that that has been a discussion between the supervisor and the finance director, Robert Kehoe, in terms of how best to provision those within the town's fleet. The town fleet does have some aging vehicles, and so this would be a good time to replace those with more efficient models.
But that determination specifically hasn't been.
Not to my knowledge, but I would.
Okay.
Privy.
So, but the adjustment of this request is customary and it's just a matter of procedure.
Yes.
What was the size of the grant?
$100,000.
100,000.
Yeah, everything here still fits into the scope of the original CREST grant.
Right.
Do it.
I'll make the motion to authorize the supervisor to execute the documents for the revised CREST.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Steve, stay up there, buddy. Number 11, consider adoption of the resolution authorizing the town of Somers to apply for municipal parks and recreation grant program funding for the Reynolds House Improvement Project with an estimated project cost of $111,400 and a required 50% match.
As the town board is aware, the town has been making ongoing investments in the rehabilitation to the Reynolds House property to make it ready for public use. A lot of those upgrades have been completed with the building interior and exterior. The town recently retained the services of a new grant consultant, and concurrent with that was the opening of a grant opportunity for funding of additional improvements and work at the at Reynolds House. We have been working with the town's grant consultant to develop that grant proposal. We had a call with them earlier this week. Steve Ralston, Parks Superintendent, and I have been working on that with them. The primary cost that's being applied for in this grant is the construction of septic and water infrastructure to meet current codes and for use as a public building. And so we have prepared, in accordance with that, a cost estimate for that scope of water and sewer construction work to be completed at the Reynolds House.
Excellent.
So this is a request authorizing the town of Somers to apply for that Parks and Recreation Grant Program to fund the water improvements at Reynolds House.
Right, I'll make the motion to adopt the resolution authorizing town of Somers to apply for the municipal grant.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Steve, I wonder if you are familiar, talking about grants here, an email that came from a particular member of the Parks and Recreation Committee, I know the who, and about use in the parks or community center. Anything you know about that? The suggestion was made for what will at one time go up in Baldwin Place through one of the developers, that could be expanded. Do you happen to know anything about that grant or anything you could tell us?
I'm actually not privy to that communication
Okay.
or to that grant program. I know that we viewed and discussed with the town's grant consultant several parks related grants.
Okay.
And this particular one was seen as a high probability for the town.
Okay, yeah, that email I'm talking about is like 2 days old. I was just wondering. Okay, great.
Thanks, Steve.
I have you up there. Yep. I'm gonna go right to, guys, why Steve is up there. Let's go right for 14.
Okay.
The next page. And since I have him up here, this is to authorize supervisor to execute the renewal contract for town workers' compensation insurance. B, the renewal contract for travelers cyber and crime renewal application. And then what I want you to talk a little bit about here is C,
Yeah.
the letter of intent with Heritage Hills of Westchester LLC to connect to the sewage wastewater collection, treatment, and disposable systems maintained and operated by Veolia Sewer New York, Inc. If you want to talk that.
Yeah, this, while they no longer operate the water and sewer infrastructure within the Heritage Hills community, Heritage Hills of Westchester LLC retained rights to the excess sewer treatment capacity at that plant. And as this board is familiar with recently other purchases of that excess capacity, this action is to authorize the supervisor to sign a letter of intent to enter into negotiations with Heritage Hills of Westchester LLC for the purchase of sewer capacity to serve the planned state police barracks at the subdivided parcel just south of Somers Crossing. There are financial terms in the letter of intent and a basis for the cost of the purchase of that, which applies to anyone seeking to purchase that capacity. We were able to negotiate as part of this letter of intent a reduction in the minimum amount of flow that needed to be purchased. It's typically a minimum threshold of 10,000 gallons. We were able to talk with them a little bit and get that down to 5,000, which is still more than we need, but is a lower
5,000 a month or 5,000
gallons per day.
5,000 gallons per day.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's gotta be plenty.
It is enough. We need this letter of intent to present to Veolia, the operator of that system, to get them to see that the town is intending to purchase that capacity. And they can then issue a letter of willingness to serve for the sewer capacity, which we need in addition to a similar letter for the water capacity to allow for the subdivision of that parcel.
And this will be all part of the project, the police barrack project, right?
Yeah.
Does this include the proposed firehouses?
I think that is a discussion to make sure that there is transferability of the capacity in excess of what it will be needed for the state police barracks so that we don't have to go through this again. But it does not explicitly include that because that hasn't been requested from Veolia.
I mean, is there a proposed firehouse?
In theory, as of right now,
I mean,
there's
way back when there was.
We haven't heard
it
anything
was-
about it for a couple of years.
It was it was a vision.
Well, when we finally are able to close a parcel for the state police, we have a contract with the fire district, and that contract requires us to admit them to the sewer district and the water district. So whether or not they ever go forward is a different issue, but we have the legal responsibility to include them when we redraw the boundaries of our paper districts, our Heritage Hills Water and Sewer paper districts. And we can't do that unless Veolia has the option to service them. So that's why I'm asking the
Well,
question.
So you essentially,
They're included.
so you have a district and you want to have the capacity to serve that district. You have some idea what the capacity might be for the police department. We really don't have any idea what the capacity is for some
Did you say that
That's
there was
why I'm
extra capacity in there that could be
asking
used
the-
for another purpose?
Yeah, and how
Is that what you're
much?
saying?
Yeah, I want to say,
Not sure.
a couple of things to hopefully clarify that. The first is we don't have an anticipated water usage or wastewater generation rate for that firehouse, so we can't include that.
estimated.
We can, and I do feel that this this amount is sufficient to cover both needs. I also the district expansion and the actual provision of service are separate procedures, though, are they not?
Well, we just extend the boundaries of
Mhm.
each district
Mhm.
because they're paper districts.
Mhm.
But we usually know in advance that Veolia has agreed to service them,
Understood.
or we extend district boundaries to a given property.
But whether it's a residential or commercial or some other project, that would be determined at some later date. Couldn't we go back and request Viola to, provide capacity at the time you identify exactly what that might be?
Well, I think right now, all we can do is, since we're contractually obligated to include a proposed fire district building, we should base the estimate of quantities on that.
But we don't have an estimate, so.
Well, have
We
you
can-
spoken to the architect
For
project?
for the fire district?
No.
I have not.
I bet you they do have some estimate based on what they were thinking.
Yeah, they had a whole plan written up.
So, what is the cost of acquiring that capacity? Is it going to be upfront?
Well,
I think Heritage Hills does require a
in the,
reservation
in the memo.
amount.
There is.
The town doesn't have to pay that. That would be up to the district. But we're contractual,
Would be assessed at a district.
that would be assessed to the fire district.
Yeah.
Okay, that's,
But we're contractually obligated to extend our boundary. And we have to know that Veolia is agreeable to servicing them, should they ever build.
so as part of the concept plan with the police station, essentially, we're going to get this thing built, but they're going to fully
First,
pay
we
us
have
back for that.
title to the property.
Yeah, that's the first step, and this is the first step.
And in order to do that, we've got to get the subdivision.
Sure, but we have all these little pieces that we're sort of like pulling together
Yeah.
under the concept that it's
And a condition of the contract.
not going to cost the town any money.
No, it's not going to cost the town any money, but a condition of the contract with the fire district is to include them in the boundaries of the water and the sewer district.
And if you
Understood.
enlarge a district, you want to make sure that what's in that district can be serviced by,
Otherwise, it's of no.
otherwise you have a paper district with no,
Right.
with no water.
So
I don't anticipate them. They wanted to sell us more capacity to begin with.
I think that they're in the business of doing so. And this that just may be a separate action before this board is to approve additional purchase of capacity when that time comes, if needed. But I
There's enough capacity.
I'm confident in
Later
that.
date, you have flexibility to expand.
You're confident the capacity that we have currently, or that that we're requesting right now, we should be able to serve both buildings.
Yes.
All right, enough said.
Okay,
Is that good, Roll?
that was,
Should have led with.
that was my question.
Okay.
Okay, as long as you're confident.
I am.
That
Yeah, I'll make a motion to authorize supervisors to execute A, B, and C.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night.
Hey, Steve.
Thanks,
Steve, thanks, man.
Thanks.
All right, let's go on back to number 12, ratify the supervisor's signature on the renewal contract, including the terrorism form for the town's commercial excess umbrella insurance policy and policy with American Alternative Insurance Corporation from the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2025, per June 23rd, 2025 email from Robert Kehoe, Director of Finance. I'll make the motion to ratify.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Number 13, ratify the supervisor's signature on the proposal from Stephen Tilley, architect, to conduct an on-site meeting with the town of Somer staff with discussions regarding submitted Elephant Hotel condition survey report and the potential implementation to be billed at an hourly rate for an estimated 4 hours as part of the CFA EPF grant. Make the motion to ratify. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right. We did 14.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec, there's no additional business. Finance, no additional. Highway, no additional. Personnel, current vacancies on the Affordable Housing Board and the Assessment Board of Reviews. This one here, authorize a promotion of Darwin Yanza from maintenance mechanic equipment grounds to assistant park foreman in a probationary status at the grade, it's not 5, it's grade 6. Step 4, salary in accordance with this CSEA contract per memo dated June 27, 2025. Steve Ralston, Parks and Recreation Superintendent, effective July 14th, 2025.
So did you say it was grade?
Six.
Grade
Six.
5, grade 6,
Grade 6,
step,
4.
grade 6. Okay, wrong. Okay.
Grade 6, step 4.
Yeah.
Make the motion to authorize.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Authorize the appointment of Thomas Burke to the Zoning Board of Appeals to a 5-year unexpired term ending December 31st, 2025. Make the motion to authorize.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. And that is, I believe, Paul Padovani had left that position. And then planning and engineering, no additional. Police, no additional. Consensus agenda, make the motion to as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, calendar. Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
August 14th, we do have a combined work session and regular meeting. 14th, 7 p.m. September 4th and 11th, 7 p.m. Both time starts. And then October 2nd and 9th, 7 p.m. our town board work session and town board regular meeting. Announcements. Whew. All right. Thanks everyone who donated for the blood drive. On Tuesday, we collected 49 life-saving pints, 12 more than our January drive. So thank you very much for everybody who came out. Great job. Somers Park and Recreation, music in the park. Times will vary. We have one going on right now, and that was at 7 p.m. We're getting on July 24th. That's at the Reese Park Pavilion, children's concert in conjunction with the Soberness Library. July 26th, Woody Guthrie Hootenanny, and that's at 5 p.m. Mount Zion Church. And Thursday, July 31st, Rick Martin Swing Band, 7 p.m. at Reese Park Stage. Got a few others here. North Salem Farmers Market, Back Street, Croton Falls, 30 plus vendors. Or anybody's interested in going to North Salem. And that is July 12th, this weekend, 9 to 2. Second annual St. Joseph Parish Fest. That's Friday, September 5th, 5 to 10. And that'll be on the 6th as well, 6 to 11. And Sunday, September 7th, 1 to 6. Westchester County Community Outreach Mobile Office will be visiting Somers. And that is Thursday, October 9th, 2025. And then Westchester County Mobile Shredders coming back again to Somers. Huge success with that. And that is October 21st. And that's from 10 to 1 at Reese Park. Patty. Fun facts here for us.
That's something good.
Well, on this day in history, in 1968, Major League Baseball announced the splitting of the two divisions to begin in 1969. In honor of summer, I have some fun facts. Lemons float and limes sink. There are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on Earth.
Wow.
And the sun is 400 times larger than the moon.
Ooh, 400
Really? That was sweet.
Like the grain of sand one.
Kind of thought.
100.
400.
Or
Wow.
aliens out there.
Earth and
Yeah.
so much.
Right.
Bill, you have anything to add?
Yes, again, you mentioned the 4th of July on July 3rd. We absolutely did brave the storm. Special thanks to Somers Parks and Rec, Somers Fire, Somers Police, Somers EMS, and from All Points who joined us. Special thanks to the Somers Lions Club, who braved it very like troopers, and also
the Leos, the high school kids, and they did a great, super job. And this is just a warm up for next year's semi-centennial.
250th.
No, I just wanted to say one thing too. I know the 3-on-3 basketball tournament got rained out.
Oh, yeah.
I did speak with the chamber. We're going to try to get a new date on there, trying to come up with a couple ideas for that. Maybe my idea maybe is to maybe do it in the evening, one night, and maybe get some people out there for the 3-on-3 to celebrate them, and they can do it underneath the lights. So we'll work with Steve, but we're coming up with some ideas. That's just one of them out there.
And when we have that new place up in Baldwin, we can
do it
kick
indoors.
off right in there.
Take it right in there.
Right in our
Rich, anything?
I just want to, say, yeah, when that storm came through on July 3rd, it really came through. I lost trees, power, electricity, cable off my house, live wires on my driveway, meters off of the house. And I want to thank, police came up, and NYSEG, and our favorite NYSEG representative, who helped on this matter. They were great, got me back in action, and just finished yesterday, as a matter of fact. So amidst all that, there was it did happen, and some of us know a second time. Something's wrong with me. They're getting back at me.
That's one praise of the Swan Song. So we're
Yeah, so Tom's getting all these accolades.
I know, he is.
I mean, they're trying to get.
I changed my mind.
Don't say that too loud.
I was just kidding.
We just recognized the Somers lacrosse team, right? So,
Yeah.
for winning the state. The parents that attended, well, it was a great event. Very nice. You presented the key to the town, to the key players there, to the key managers there.
Coaches. Yeah.
And the parents were well appreciated of it. It was a good meeting. It was a good event, I should say.
It was.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Tom, anything?
Just wish my son, Tom Garrity Jr., a happy 23rd birthday tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Very nice.
Oh, remember when he was just a boy?
You do.
Yeah.
And
I said he was born when I was on the zoning board.
so I'll give a little shout out to a young lady at home, Peyton Scarano. She went to Vegas. She conquered, took first in the all-around competition out there.
Wow.
She won the gold.
Nice.
So
Is gymnastics?
in gymnastics.
Wow.
That's outstanding.
She did an unbelievable job. She took second in a couple other events. So, but took the all-around gold.
Wow.
Vegas. So, yeah, she's walking on cloud 9 right now. So.
I thought you were going to say she did well at the blackjack table.
Yeah, she might have. She might have. Sure, she talked her way in there.
Congratulations, Pete.
Thank you. Anybody else?
That's it.
Nope.
If nothing else, I'll make the motion.
August 14th is one.
Oh, yes.
14th is one meeting. There's
Yes, August 14th is one meeting, and there is we will be taking, if you are interested in speaking with myself or members of the town board about the open vacancy for our friend here departing member who is leaving, please contact my office. We'll set up some time to talk and kind of go from there. That is it. And if nothing else, I'll make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Good night, everyone.